Welcome back. Today we're talking about the aftermath of working in the sex industry. And right now we're gonna just take a couple of viewer questions. So one of the questions is that because so much of working in the sex industry, relationships are directly tied to sex. So sometimes relationships outside of that can be very sexualized. So did you ladies find it hard to connect with people outside of sex?
Yeah, it's really difficult. Especially like friendships with girlfriends, that was all new to me anyway, but knowing them in a different way was really weird. It's like one of my good friends also left the business at the same time, and she was having nightmares. We were living together. It was a good match. So she was having nightmares, and she would come in my room, "Can I sleep with you?" And I'm like, "No, you can't." I couldn't be that close to a woman because it didn't feel right.
What about you, Bronwyn?
Definitely working out, like Harmony said earlier, what intimacy is without sex. Like I would sleep with people for drugs, I would sleep with people for a place to stay, I would sleep with boys, girls. It was just like, well, that's what I do and that's who I am. So it has been that journey of walking away from that and going, okay, what does intimacy look like? And now being 15 years down the track, going, well, I want to be a good mom, I want to be a good woman, I want to be a good friend, I want to be a good leader. And how do I do that with all of these different spheres of people and be intimate with them when it's completely unsexual, and still be intimate? So it's definitely for me been a huge journey to walk it out. And in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. There was, again, no Treasures, no Hope Foundation to go to someone and say, can you help me with this question? Now we have the honor and privilege of hopefully bringing solution to other people when they come with that problem.
That's great.
Yeah, my relationships, like I mentioned earlier, were highly sexualized. So coming into this environment where now that is not even the norm, I feel like I didn't know how to be with people. And beyond that, I did not know physical touch outside of sex. So
And you actually said the boyfriend, I remember you telling me one time, like he never even hugged you.
I was gonna tell you.
In your entire relationship.
In 7 years, we hugged 3 times, maybe 2. And so when I started going to church and our pastor's talking about hug your neighbor, I was like, I didn't know what to do. And it was such a big deal. I went home and told him that I hugged my neighbor at church. And he was like, oh, that is disrespectful. If I ever find out you're doing that again, blah, 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 blah. And so my first act of rebellion against him was the next time my pastor was like, hug your neighbor, I was like, even to this day, honestly, it's a journey. I'm not that comfortable with physical touch, but now I can hug my friends, and I know you're not trying to sleep with me. But it's been a journey for sure.
I feel like what I hear the theme of this conversation is making the journey to staying present in a conversation and present in a relationship.
Absolutely.
And it not being tied to something you're doing.
Right, because intimacy is about knowing and being known.
That's right.
And so it's like, first of all, how can I be known if I don't even know who I am?
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel like fantasy and sex is something that for me became easy to hide behind. It became a wall of protection around me because as long as I was this Monique and hid behind this sexual persona, that I never had to be known, and that was safe.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, just another question from some of our viewers is that you've already talked about a little bit of this, but a lot of women have memories, they have nightmares, they have flashbacks. We hinted at that being part of post-traumatic stress disorder. And you guys have said you've experienced that, so then how do you deal with it? What do you do?
I mean, I could say prayer. Like, I literally would wake up and just have to pray like my life depended on it.
I didn't become a Christian until 2 years after I left the industry. So I used to try and, push my dreams and my nightmares and my guilt and my shame and my fear and my who am I questions away with drugs. Then when I did become a Christian, it was like, I would just be like, help me, God. I don't know what else to say. And he would move.
Yeah, sometimes all I could say was, Jesus.
Yeah, that's it. Simple.
I mean, seriously, really simple, exactly. Yeah, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
That's great. So Harmony, we don't have much time left, so I'm just going to pose this question directly to you. We had a woman write in asking how to address the gaps in her resume after she was in the industry.
Yeah, that can be really tricky. I found that challenge myself, but essentially there are a couple things. One, we have a template for a resume on the Treasures website where you can actually use your experiences on your resume in a way that will not reveal and disclose exactly what you did. For example, I know that Christy said she was in internet marketing. Well, it's true, you know, and I was in sales, and so, but then also to get creative and think about volunteer work or find volunteer work to do, and just kind of not be dishonest, but to get creative and think about beyond even the skills and the things that you've done that you've received pay for. Like, what are your skills and what are your strengths? And so if you're having trouble with that, the website imatreasure.com, in the industry girls only section, we have a template for a resume.
It's perfect. Thank you, Harmony. And coming up, we're going to find out if leaving the business was worth it, despite all the challenges, despite all the hardships that our panel has faced.
Whoa.